Duke Eclipse presents the Horror Hideout Podcast, a podcast covering everything horror, including books, comics, and movies. Presented by Dawson Duke and Kayla Bullock. Welcome to episode 36.
What?
I know. But we're continuing our look at the Leprechaun series, and I don't think either of us really liked these two.
The third one had potential.
Yeah.
The fourth one was just ridiculous.
The fourth one, I don't know. It was just weird. And I'm sure we'll get more into it. But I'm wondering, because I was hyping it up, and I'm wondering if I was getting it mixed up with Jason X in my head.
I haven't seen that one.
I know. But I'm wondering, because there's one kill that's kind of similar and stuff, so I wonder if I was getting those two mixed up in my head, and that's why I thought it was better than it was.
Well, the third one had potential. The fourth one was...
potential.
Right. My husband looked at me and said, that's the stupidest movie we've ever watched. We've watched some pretty stupid movies. So let's jump
Go Shark.
I like Go Shark.
I do too.
Let's jump into 3.
So, our first movie took place... Where was it?
Did they ever say?
Yeah. Let me go back in my notes. But the second one was LA. And so this one gives us an entirely new city with Las Vegas.
And I want to reiterate, if you haven't seen our first video, the first video we talked about the Leprechaun movies, we were kind of talking about theories on the Leprechaun, and Dawson said some people think that it's different Leprechauns in every movie.
Yes.
And I have to say, after watching these two, I hope that's the direction they were going, because if not, it makes no sense whatsoever. So.
The first movie takes place in, like, rural North Dakota.
Okay.
So now we're in Las Vegas.
Yeah, the second one is Los Angeles, this one's Las Vegas.
Yes.
And we start out in a pawn shop.
And I will say, I know there's problems with this movie. I do think it used its location better than the last movie. Because I know the last movie had some of that, but they didn't do a whole lot of, like, exploring.
Yeah.
And this, they're, like, on the Strip, and, you know, it felt like they were more integrated into the city they're in.
Yeah, and so, when we talked about this before we started recording, but to me, the first one is a horror movie.
Yeah.
The second one's more action-adventure.
Yeah.
This one's kind of like gangster-ish, kind of humor.
Seedy underworld.
Yeah. And the fourth one is sci-fi.
Yeah.
So, they're taking it in different directions, which is a cool idea. I just don't know if it worked.
Yeah.
So we start out in a pawn shop, and a guy brings in
and it's specifically called the Pawn Place. I wrote that down.
He brings in a statue of a leprechaun that has this red necklace on it.
And this guy that brings it in has an eye patch, a hook hand, and a prosthetic leg.
Yeah.
Like, he looks like a modern-day pirate.
Yeah.
So I want to know his story.
Yeah.
But he comes... Yeah, you said he comes with the statue, and it's got that medallion around its neck.
And I want to throw this out there. The pawn shop owner is Indian.
Yes.
Only because one of my favorite lines in the whole movie is later.
That's kind of... I don't know if it could be considered racist, but it...
I don't know. It's just funny when he said it.
Yeah. But, the owner starts to take the medallion off the neck, and the guy snaps at him and says, "Don't take off that medallion." And then he ends up leaving. Well, after he leaves...
He gives him like $20 or something.
Yeah,
He doesn't give him much of anything for it.
But after the guy leaves, the owner does take off the medallion and takes it over and is studying it under something.
Yeah. Basically, he says it's worthless.
Yeah. But while he's doing that, we see the statue of the leprechaun disappear, and in its place is a pot of gold.
Which is another thing I thought was kind of cool, because the pots of gold are different in every movie.
Are they? I didn't pay enough attention.
Well, like in...
You see it at the very beginning of the first movie.
Is it this one? I know in the second one it had jewelry and stuff like that.
Yes.
And either in the third or the fourth one it was just gold.
The first one
it was in that bag for a while.
Yeah, but the first one, the actual pot, you see at the very beginning when he's like down in that cave.
And I'm pretty sure they're all different.
And that one is just gold, so I think or just coins. So I think that one looks more like this one in the third movie. But I don't know about the actual, like, what the actual pot itself looks like.
Yeah. Well, I meant what was inside.
Yeah.
Which feeds into the theory that maybe they're different leprechauns.
Yeah. Well, and I will say, the medallion from this one does come back in the last two we're going to do, if I remember correctly. But, yeah, so the owner bites the gold coin, and then Leprechaun jumps out and bites his ear. And I wonder if that's a reference to Oz in the first movie. because Oz bites it and accidentally swallows it, and then he gets his ear bitten later in the movie.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's a callback.
So this was where the line I thought was funny. He says, "Spicy. I love Indian food."
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous, but it caught me off guard when he said that.
And again, we get another reference to his history of loving shoes, because he makes a comment here and he tells this guy he has a nice pair of shoes.
Yeah.
And then he bites off the guy's toe. And the guy just kind of lays there and takes it.
Well, he takes his shoe off and he's got a hole in his sock and his toe's sticking out the hole and he bites his toe off through the hole.
Yeah, like
his
his
sock.
big toe. But I just... The guy, the owner, is not struggling very hard to get away. He just kind of lays there and takes it. Like he's kind of just frozen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if a leprechaun statue came to life, I might be a little frozen too.
Yeah, but if he's biting your toe off, if he just bit your ear and he's biting your toe off, I think I'd do something. So the owner like holds up the medallion or something, and it kind of scares the leprechaun off.
Yeah.
So again, first movie his weakness was 4-leaf clover. Second movie his weakness was if you hold the gold coin, he can't hurt you, right?
Yeah. And the second one, that's to find out about iron, didn't they?
I was gonna say, and the second one also brings in the iron. And then this movie, it's the medallion. And again, the rules change about like how the gold coins work and all that stuff. So first movie, if you have a gold coin, it doesn't matter. He can kill you. He can come after you, and he will come after you to come get it. Second movie, if you have a gold coin of his, it protects you. This movie, if you have a gold coin of his, he'll grant you, or it'll grant you a wish. Because it doesn't even really seem like it's him granting the wish.
Right.
Which is kind of different from the second movie, because in the second movie, when he's trapped, he grants wishes.
But see, I wonder, do you really think he was... in the second one, do you think he had to grant wishes, or do you think that he was just doing it to be a butthead to the guy? So I think about what his wishes were.
I know, but there's a lot of lore regarding leprechauns granting wishes if you capture them. So I do think he had to.
Okay, that's true.
I mean, I don't even necessarily know if he necessarily had to, but he had to get free. Right. Is kind of the main thing. Like, I don't know if he was magically supposed to. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I wonder if he did it to get out, not because he was, like, bound by,
Yeah, and it could go either way, and I don't know if it really matters if it was magically or just because he wanted to get out.
Yeah. But then if you look at the genie in Aladdin, he can't rescue Aladdin without Aladdin wishing for it at the one part where he's in the water.
Yeah.
So maybe it is... I know genies and leprechauns are different, but anyway.
And I don't know. It also just depends on your lore, and that it changes throughout the movie, so it's hard to pin down exactly how that works. So the owner gets a gun, or no. Here we find out that the gold gives the genie gives the leprechaun power, and if he does not have his gold, he has no power. Which we kind of got in the first movie too, where he said that without his gold, he's not as powerful.
Right.
And then we find out, and it's like a little CD thing he puts in a computer that tells him all this stuff.
Yeah, which was odd that he just...
And it just keeps... I assume it just keeps playing on loop, because every time they come back there, they learn something new from it, and it's just like it's playing over and over. So, the owner gets a gun, and he goes after the leprechaun who went into the basement, and... Is this where he locks his gold in the safe?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, when the owner is down there, he comes up to Lep with the gun, and our leprechaun sticks his finger in the barrel of the gun, so then the gun just kind of explodes whenever he shoots it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a cartoon. Like, it's not very realistic to how I think that would actually work.
Right.
And I just mean, like, how it backfires. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you block the barrel of a gun, it would do more damage to the gun. Or, like, do more damage to the person holding the gun.
Well, I think it'd, like, blow your finger off.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It was stuck down the barrel, too.
Yeah. Well, not just that, but I mean, like, the guy who's holding the gun.
Well, no, I know, but that's what I said, too.
Yeah.
I think it would...
But, after the gun gets broken, the owner shoves the medallion in the leprechaun's mouth, or throws it in his mouth or something, and we see some green blood coming out.
Which that is consistent. He bleeds green in every movie.
Yes. Which I think is, like, a cool detail to keep.
Yeah.
And it kind of... Even though, like, it changes, like, the weaknesses are... I like the theory, like, it's a different leprechaun in every movie, but they have some stuff that's the same. Right. Like, they look the same, they all bleed green, like...
Yeah.
And again, it reminds me of the blood from Predator, because they have... Or the... Yatja, or however you say it, they have blood like that, too.
So here is when we meet Scott, and he's driving, and he picks up a woman named Tammy, who he does not know. She's just like hitchhiking, and he tells her that he's stopping in Vegas on his way to college in California, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
basically, he's just driving through. He just wanted to see the town on his way out there.
yes, so
and he is not of age to be.
He's not 21 yet.
Yeah.
I don't know if we get a solid age, but he's not 21.
I mean, I'd say 18 or 19 if he's just not going to college.
But so he drives her to the Lucky Shamrock Casino, which just so happens to be across the street from the pawn shop. And I don't know if that's established here or later, but that's an important thing to note. So Tammy tells Scott he can come in the casino, he just can't gamble because he's too young.
Yeah.
She makes him promise he won't.
Yeah. And we find out that she's the magician's assistant for the show and the casino.
Yeah. And the magician is Fazio.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how they say it? Okay. I watched this yesterday, so I'm just going off my notes, and this is probably the most forgettable Leprechaun movie for me.
You didn't even remember what it was about.
I know, and that's I think I just there's not much about it that
yeah.
There's not much there to remember that really. It doesn't feel like it really shook stuff up enough, in my opinion. So, which maybe is why they did 4, which is so different. Because this one kind of feels like they were kind of redoing some of the same ideas, like the wish thing that they kind of touched on in the second one, and things like that. So I wonder if they were it just felt too similar to previous movies, but in a worse way.
There's one part we'll get to later that I thought was really cool, though.
Some of the effects, like when his toe gets bitten off and stuff, are still really good, because they had the same, if I remember correctly, they had the same practical effects guy work on all the movies. And so that always kind of stays consistent, because even in the 4th one, which has terrible CGI and stuff, some of the injury effects and stuff I think are actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, we meet Fazio, the magician, and Loretta, who is a worker at the casino. She's, I don't know what they call them.
She's a dealer,
a dealer,
table dealer.
And we also meet,
I don't know if you call her a dealer though, because she doesn't do cards.
I don't know.
She's at the roulette
wheel. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Probably.
We could just call her a dealer.
I think it's dealer.
Not that important. So we also meet Mitch, who is the casino owner, and he's kind of like he kind of reminds me of a mob boss, like a kingpin.
Yeah.
So Scott ends up using his college money to gamble, and Mitch lets him.
$23,000 check from his mom and dad for college.
Yeah.
And he cashes it in.
And it's all just written as one check, which I think is funny too. And it's not like, why would they have not sent it to the school or something?
Well, it was a cashier's check, so
okay.
It was from the bank made out to him, but I mean that would be for food and lodging and stuff like that. And if it all went to the college, then he'd have to wait on a refund.
Yeah.
If you dig too deep into it, that's where.
Well, I get that, but also it just seems insane for me too. This kid is probably going away for the first time. Like this is the first time he's away from his parents, and his parents just give him $23,000 in one lump sum. I would
see. I don't know if back I mean, this was in the 90s. I didn't go to college in the 90s, obviously, so I don't know if maybe you just wrote a check for college.
Yeah, but I'm saying I don't know, because you said the food and stuff. Well, if that's the case, I would think they would put him on a weekly budget or something, and not just send him a huge lump sum of money all at once.
Yeah.
So we also meet Art and Tony here, who are owed money by Mitch.
And they're weird. They have a weird dynamic.
I think they're supposed to be gay, but I don't know.
See, I thought the one was, but I didn't know if the other guy was.
I think it's supposed to be implied that they're kind of... I don't know. I don't know for sure. But that's kind of... I don't know. That's kind of the implication I got. But,
I thought the bully guy was kind of... I thought he might be, but I wasn't sure if they were a couple.
I don't know. I don't... it's not explicit, obviously, but that's the impression that I got. Just from some of their comments and stuff. But, so... we meet them, and then Scott goes over and is gambling at Loretta's table, which is roulette, you said? Okay. And we see she's cheating. She's got a thing under the table with a magnet so that she can stop the ball in a certain spot.
Yeah.
And so, again, we see Fazio show for a minute, and he's just, dancing on the stage. He's not even really performing magic here.
Yeah.
He's just kind of dancing around, which I thought was...
He's kind of one of those, has-been magicians.
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
I mean,
Well, and this whole casino just feels sleazy.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's the cheating and stuff, and so it's probably not his first choice to be here.
Right.
Um, but, we
But
then
you said
cut...
they used a closed casino, right?
Yeah, it was an abandoned, or like a vacant casino. I think it was a casino. But yes.
It'd be a lot of work to bring in all the tables and stuff.
Yeah, well, and you can kind of tell just from looking on the outside with that banner they have that says just Shamrock. Like, it's just like, it's printed on like tarp material.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even like an actual like big sign. Which, I know that could be like, oh, well, that's because it's a low budget. Because this one was the first direct-to-DVD Leprechaun movie, if I remember correctly. And so it had a lower budget than the others. But also, I feel like that lends to it being like a sleazy casino.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah. And so, when we meet, what's her name? The dealer?
Loretta.
Fazio, is it Fazio or is it the guy that owns the place? Basically tells her that she'll never be young and pretty enough to
I think it's the owner.
to be Fazio's assistant or anything but what she's doing now.
Yeah.
It might because it comes back a little bit later.
I do think it's actually Fazio. Now that you say that, because of something that happens later, I think it's Fazio. But yeah. So we see Scott loses all of his money.
Yeah.
In like one bet.
Yeah.
Which, I don't
really think he lost it all in one bet. I think we kind of jumped back and forth in time. So I think he lost it all, but I think it was over time.
Yeah. Well, he was on a losing streak regardless, so he loses all of it. But here we cut back, and the Leprechaun gets the medallion away from the owner of the pawn shop with his powers and beats him with a cane and a bat, asking him where his gold is. And we see it fall onto like the keyboard of the computer that's playing the Leprechaun information.
And the video of the Leprechaun's like an after-school cartoon special that you guys would watch when you were in like kindergarten.
Yeah.
Like PBS informational.
And it's very like basic, not that this is like bad, but it's very basic animation. Like it's like I don't know. I was thinking of something now I can't even think of what I was going to say.
It is very basic.
Yeah. It's just like it's almost just like stick figures.
Yeah. It's like Scooby-Doo where the background is the same. Like, they run past the same background 20 times.
So, Leprechaun ends up killing the owner by wrapping his throat with a phone cord, which I wonder if that's a reference to the second one when he does that to the guy in that one. He doesn't kill him with it, but he wraps him whenever he tries to say bless you. So I wonder if that's also a reference, which would make sense because he's also the owner is also the one where he referenced the shoe thing and the Oz with the biting ear and stuff. So I wonder if they just like used all the references on this one guy. But so he's dead now. And so Loretta convinces Scott to go to the pawn shop across the street.
And he is dead in the front of the pawn shop. Like kind of behind the counter.
Yes. And so Loretta ends up convincing Scott, hey, go pawn your watch and you can gamble more. So
can you imagine that phone call back to your mom and dad? Hey, I lost all $23,000.
And I pawned my watch.
I also feel like the casino could be in trouble because they didn't check his age.
Yes.
So, I mean, we're splitting hairs and it doesn't matter in this grand scheme of the movie, but anyway.
So Scott goes to the pawn shop to sell his watch.
Which we find out he got from his grandpa.
Yes.
It's a graduation gift from his grandpa.
And this is whenever he sees the thing play on the TV that says, when there's no gold, the leprechaun will die.
Yes.
Or can die. I don't know if he says it will die or can die, but basically that's it. And so Scott finds the dead guy.
Not to interrupt you, but when he puts his gold in the safe, we see one coin rolls away.
Yes, yep. And that was the one the owner had that fell onto the keyboard earlier. Yeah. Sorry, I should have mentioned that.
No, that's okay. I just...
So he finds the body and he calls the police and says, hey, I'm at the pawn shop across the street from the Shamrock whatever. And I don't think we hear back on the cop's end, do we?
He just says, I'll wait here.
Yeah. So then he hangs up. Well, he finds the gold coin sitting on the keyboard, and he wishes to be at the casino on a winning streak.
Because when he walks over to get the thing off the keyboard, it's saying that if you have the Leprechaun's gold.
Yes, you can make a wish.
Yeah.
Which, again, I think they kind of say in the program that the Leprechaun has to grant you a wish, but it's almost like the coin is granting you a wish, because the coin glows. Yeah. Yeah, in this one specifically. Because, like, the coin glows, and then your wish happens, yeah. And if you... We'll get into this, but if you lose the coin, your wish stops.
Yeah.
So, right as this happens, he disappears, and we see the Leprechaun was behind him, and he slams an axe down to where Scott was just sitting.
Yeah.
And so...
Scott wishes to be back in the casino on a winning streak.
Yes,
I said that. We were kind of going back and forth, so I didn't know if you...
It doesn't hurt to be repeated. So Scott is now on his winning streak, and to the point that the cheating thing under the table that Loretta's trying to use breaks.
Yeah.
And so Mitch, hoping that he'll lose the money later, offers him a room there. Which I wonder how that works with the winning streak thing. Like,
they do that out in Vegas.
No. I mean, I wonder if like Loretta and them are aware that he was on a losing streak and then started winning, or if it's just like it completely got rid of his losing streak and he's been on a winning streak that whole time.
I think he was on a winning streak the whole time because he had all of the coins or all the chips he started with plus more.
Yeah.
So I think it just kind of put him back in that spot.
Yeah.
And we see the boss come up and he's kind of giving Loretta heck about the winning streak, and she's like, there's something wrong with the table, so he shuts that table down.
And then that's when he offers the room to Scott.
Yeah.
So that, because he's hoping he'll recoup his money. Like, Mitch, the owner, will recoup his money by Scott losing, like, the next day.
Right.
And so Scott goes over, and is he cashing out?
Mm-hmm.
And Tammy...
Which it bothers me that we never knew how much he had.
Yeah. Tammy comes up to him and is like, hey, just cash out and leave, don't stay the night. And is trying to get him to get out of there and just, like, go to California to go to college with the money he earned. And he's like, no, I'm winning. I'm up, basically. And he doesn't want to leave without her, too.
Yeah.
Which, you just met this girl, like, what, like an hour or a couple hours ago? Yeah. And it just, it's so weird how quickly he grew attached to her.
He was kind of an odd character. He was kind of, I don't know. He kind of skeeved me out at the beginning when he first pulled up to pick her up.
Well, he almost hit her.
Yeah. And her car.
Yeah. So then here we get a scene of Leprechaun just on the strip, just kind of walking around. And if I remember right, I don't remember where I read this or heard this, but I'm pretty sure that they didn't actually have the strip shut down. So people's reactions of, like, looking at him and stuff were just people's real reactions. But there's a scene...
Did you know the only time... do you know what movie was the only
Honey,
time...
I Shrunk the Kids.
No. Honey, I Blew Up the Baby.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's the only time all of the lights on the Las Vegas Strip have been out at the same time.
Yeah. I knew that, but I know it's in that series, but I never know exactly which one it is.
Yeah. Honey, I Blew Up the Baby.
You know, I think I've only ever seen the first part of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and I've never seen any other movies in that franchise, because we rented it from Paris Library one time when it was on VHS. I should not have said the name of the library. We rented it from the library one time when it was, like, on VHS, and it had part 1 and part 2 on as separate VHSs, and I don't think we ever got the second part.
You need to watch that one. That's good.
Okay. So where were we at? Oh, he's on the strip, and he runs into, like, an Elvis impersonator.
Yeah.
And he does an impression of Elvis here, which I thought was funny, because it's kind of like a callback to him always copying people's voices and stuff. And he ends up seeing the Shamrock Casino, and, you know, it has a big, I think it's got a big 4-leaf clover on the sign.
I think so, yeah.
And so he's a leprechaun, so he decides to go in there. And he runs into Fazio, yeah. Oh, and he kind of plays a trick on Fazio. I think it's supposed to be green poop in his hand.
Yeah.
Or something.
So Fazio's out in the lobby doing kind of like card tricks and stuff.
Yeah. And I think he's supposed to be making something disappear, because I think he's got, like, a cloth over his hand or something.
Yeah.
And when he pulls it out, there's, like, it looks like green Play-Doh.
It looks to me like it's supposed to be leprechaun poop.
Yeah. But, like, it just looks like green Play-Doh.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the insinuation is leprechaun poop.
Because we see him, like, kind of wash his hands.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we actually see him do it, but I think we see him when he's coming
them
out.
off.
Yeah. So the leprechaun ends up gambling with dice, and he's winning, and then I don't remember which one it is, but it's one of the two guys that Mitch owes money to, says something to him or something, and he starts making coins come out of his mouth.
Yeah.
But it's just, again, it was just a weird little scene.
Yeah.
So
was the Elvis thing in the script? It wasn't like just there happened to be an Elvis impersonator there?
No.
That you saw?
Because that was right outside the casino door. I mean, when he's actually just walking on the strip.
Yeah, well, I know, but I didn't know if you meant if that was part of. That'd be kind of funny if that was just a random.
Yeah.
Good timing.
So. Okay, so Fazio ends up breaking. He talks to Loretta first, but he ends up breaking into Scott's room to rob him, and instead of finding the money, he just finds the coin.
And Scott's in there. He's in the bathroom.
I was going to say, I think he's in the shower.
Yeah.
And so he comes out and scares Fazio off, but he throws down like a smoke pellet, Fazio does, to escape.
This movie is ridiculous.
So kind of as the smoke is clearing, Leprechaun comes into the room and gets in a fight with Scott because the Leprechaun saw Scott with the coin earlier. And so he's coming after him. And so the Leprechaun bites onto Scott, and then Scott stabs the Leprechaun in the forehead. I didn't write down what with. Is it just a knife? Or what is it?
Gosh, I don't remember.
It doesn't.
I don't
It's
think
not
it was
super.
a knife, but it was. I don't know.
It's not super important. But the Leprechaun bleeds onto Scott, and it kind of goes into his skin.
Yeah, into the wound where the Leprechaun bit him.
And so the Leprechaun ends up getting launched out the window. And which is kind of funny.
Probably a sentence you probably never thought you'd say.
And I think we see him down on the ground and he gets up and I think he makes a quip. I think he says, "I'll take the elevator next time."
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, it's he gets more and more quippy throughout movies, it seems like. Yeah. But I mean, he's always been kind of quippy, but it just seems like he has more as the movies go on. But so we see Scott looking in the mirror at himself, and he kind of flashes back and forth between like Leprechaun and regular self, like him done with like Leprechaun makeup, and then he starts eating potatoes.
This is my favorite part. This is the part I think they could have really played into more. He's like a were-leprechaun, which is what you called it.
Yes.
And that's such a cool. They could have done so much with that.
But so he's eating potatoes in the instructional video about leprechauns that we got earlier. They had said that leprechauns love potatoes, which is like an Irish stereotype.
So he's down at the restaurant. He's ordered like every kind of potato they have.
Yeah. And then he's talking in like a terrible Irish accent. It's so bad. And he starts rhyming to the waitress, and the waitress, and the waitress just looks so done. Like she's trying to be nice and stand there and listen to him, but she's just so ready to walk away.
Well, he runs and then she asks him if it's some poet. Like,
yeah. But she looks done. Like she does not. She looks like she doesn't want to be there. So then we're back with Fazio, and he gives Loretta the coin so that she can sell it. Right?
I thought,
Because he doesn't believe it's magic.
Yeah.
So Mitch takes it from Loretta. I don't know if he gives a reason.
They kind of fight over it.
Yeah.
He basically says, "What's yours is mine because I own the casino."
Yeah. And
actually, I think he says it was because of how much she let Scott win.
Okay. Yeah, that would make sense. So then Mitch, and he's not doing it on purpose. Like, he doesn't know the coin will grant our wish, but he just says it. He wishes that Tammy would have sex with him, basically. Which, it's so gross.
Yeah, because he's an older guy, and she's young and...
Yeah. And it's also like, she's under the influence of magic and forced to be doing, like, coming onto him.
Very uncomfortable scene.
And the way she talks.
Yeah.
She talks like a child. Yes, it's creepy and gross. She talks like she's a toddler.
Yeah.
But, so, while that's happening, they go up to Mitch's room and stuff, and Loretta ends up stealing the coin back. And so, Tammy is just about to take off, like, her shirt,
she took
bra.
her top off. She was about ready to take her bra off.
Yeah, but it's
like... She was in, like, a tight...
But I don't know if is it, like, actually a bra?
Yeah.
It's more...
It was a
okay.
bra. She had on, like, that tight bodysuit.
Yeah,
and
almost like a
bra
Playboy
underneath of it.
bunny
Yeah.
kind
It's
of
a cheddar
thing.
underneath
So Tammy, coming aware because the coin got stolen, is horrified at Mitch and leaves, and in the process of leaving, Mitch fires her.
Yeah.
And because Mitch is doing all this stuff, he missed his meeting with Art and Tony. So we kind of see them downstairs, and they're kind of getting upset, wondering where he's at. So then we see the Leprechaun is in Mitch's room, and he has a woman start stripping on the TV, and then she like reaches out of the TV and grabs him, and then basically like, pushes him onto the bed and is on top of him.
Yeah.
With her top off.
Yeah.
And
it's kind of so. This is such a weird scene, but it is kind of funny that like the channel on the TV keeps changing.
And he's
so,
like, yeah, he's like a evangelist.
Yeah, and so, but it's always talking about Mitch. So
Yeah.
I think that part was kind of fun.
Yeah. The Leprechaun shows up on the TV playing like an evangelist. I think like a car salesman,
Yeah.
but it's always someone sleazy.
Yeah.
And it is funny.
Yeah.
I do think this movie leans heavily into comedy.
So while all this is going on, Scott runs into Loretta, and Loretta tells him
Tammy.
no.
Right? Okay.
Doesn't Loretta tell Scott that she's upstairs with Mitch?
No.
Somebody does.
Tammy and Scott run back into each other, and Tammy tells Scott everything that just happened.
Somebody says that she was up there with him because he gets upset. I'm almost positive. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Well, Tammy and Scott go into the room together.
I know, but I thought before that he went looking for her, and he found her in the elevator. He was getting ready to go up as she was coming down.
It may have been. But, I just wrote that Tammy and Scott meet back up and go to confront Mitch. So that may happen somewhere in there, and I just didn't write it down. So, Mitch's woman turns into a robot and electrocutes him to death.
Which is so weird, because it's like...
And it's kind of random,
breast.
yeah.
She still has her face, but the rest of her is...
Yeah. But they do look almost like they're rubber or something.
Yeah. But so, we kind of talked about this before we started recording, but it would have made more sense to me if it had been the Leprechaun, not a robot.
Or, I think what would have been cool if it was like wires and stuff leading out of the TV in the shape of a woman. And that's what electrocuted him to death. Like something like that.
Yeah.
It was still kind of connected to the TV.
Because
I think what they were kind of going for is like, oh, she came out of the TV, so she's like electronic.
Right.
But I think they could have handled it better.
Yeah.
Like it would have been cool to see like the TV screen like busted out and there's like wires coming out and they like make the shape of a woman. Like I feel like that would have been a cooler way to do it.
Yeah.
Which again that's probably expensive and out of this movie's budget. But they had a whole robot, so. But that makes me wonder if that was left over from another movie.
I don't know. The robot in the fourth one made me uncomfortable too.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So Mitch gets electrocuted to death and is like burnt. Like he looks like a piece of jerky on the bed. And so that's when Tammy and Scott come in. Yeah.
And they're standing there getting ready like to leave because they see that he's dead, and Mitch or
the Leprechaun.
The two bad guys come in, right?
The Leprechaun comes out first.
Okay.
Because he kind of taunts Tammy and Scott. And so Tammy and Scott are about to leave, and that's when Art and Tony come in. And
they
so
basically think that Scott did something to Mitch.
Yeah, but while that's happening, Tammy and Scott leave.
Yeah.
Do they just go out the door?
I think so.
Okay. Which there's a door on either side of the room. There's like a door on the left, a door on the right, and there's a big bed that's in the middle. And so Art and Tony come in the door on the right, and they came in on the door on the left. So they leave through the door on the left.
Yeah.
I just wanted to.
A hotel right like that.
Yeah, but I wonder if it's like penthouse kind of thing, since he's like the owner.
Or if it's like a double room where you can take the.
Yeah, maybe it's like a honeymoon suite type of thing.
Yeah.
So the Leprechaun ends up stabbing Tony's eye out. Is it just with like his cane? Yeah, It's just with his cane. And just beats both of them with the cane and presumably kills them because we don't see him anymore after this. Yeah. But it doesn't look like it's a little person beating people with a cane. It doesn't really seem like it's enough to actually kill them.
Yeah.
Which I will say the effects on the eye aren't bad either. Did you?
No, but That's a
I know
throwback.
eye stuff
That's a
bothers
throwback
you.
to the first one too.
Yeah. Well, and it also brings to mind Becky that we just did.
Yeah.
Because that
that
one
was
guy was
gruesome.
yeah. Okay. So, like we said, Loretta at this point has the coin because she stole it. So she wishes to be young and beautiful again. And becomes young and beautiful again. I'm doing air quotes. Like, she was already beautiful how she was. She didn't need to wish to be anything. And I like her original hairstyle better than the hairstyle she gets after she makes the wish.
I do like the blue dress she has on though.
Yeah. So she ends up telling Fazio, which I think is why he was the one that was saying, "Oh, you're too old and ugly to be my assistant." So now he ends up stealing the coin from her, and then locks her in like a dressing room. And so the leprechaun appears in the dressing room, ends up blowing Loretta up by inflating her body in different areas.
It's a very uncomfortable scene again.
Yeah.
Like her lips, when her lips get big.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. And so now we're back with Scott and Tammy at the pawn shop. And do you want to say your thing about this?
So, it's only been an hour or two since he was at the pawn shop. He called the police. The police said they were on their way. There was a dead body there, and now there's nothing. There's no dead body. There's no crime scene tape. There's no police activity. And you can't tell me if somebody got murdered that the police wouldn't still be there.
And when he was on the phone, he said, "I'll still be here."
Yeah, well, but on the flip side of that, it was the 90s. It was a corded phone. They wouldn't even know who he was anyway.
Yeah.
I mean...
But I mean, I think they would still probably ask around.
Yeah.
But my other thing is, how does that work with him having done that and then he wished he was back at the casino doing a winning streak? Because how could he have made that phone call if he wasn't losing and left to go there?
I don't know.
But like you said, the body's gone.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Because they even talk about that. He's like, his body was right here. And I'm like, there's no crime scene tape. There's no police officers.
Unless his wish undid that and Leprechaun got rid of the body.
I don't know.
But why would the Leprechaun have gotten rid of the body? Because he left it there in the first place.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just...
It doesn't make sense.
No. So they see again that things, I guess, playing on loop, because this is when they see that if you destroy the gold, you can destroy the leprechaun, or it does destroy the leprechaun.
Yeah.
And Scott is like repelled by the medallion that's still here. And so they end up going in the basement, and Scott uses his new leprechaun powers to sniff out where the gold's at and opens the safe. I think he uses magic to open the safe.
Mm-hmm.
And so he finds the leprechaun gold. And Tammy's like, "Oh, we need to destroy it." And Scott stops her and is like, "You can't destroy it," because his inner leprechaun is taking over.
Right.
Which I will say also, the makeup effects in these movies never are bad. I think the makeup is always good. Like, even like his leprechaun form, or just like Warwick Davis's leprechaun. Like, it's always consistent.
Yeah, and which we haven't got there yet, but when he's in the hospital, I thought that was really good.
Yeah. So while this is happening, the leprechaun appears, and Scott tries to wish him away, but it doesn't work.
And I think we see somewhere in the video that you can't wish harm on the leprechaun.
I don't know if we
says that
yeah,
or if it was in the video, but somewhere in there I heard that you couldn't wish harm on the
My
leprechaun.
other question is, they say if for each gold coin you have, you get one wish. Mm-hmm. Scott already had his wish. It's this. Oh, I guess it's a different coin. Never mind. I was thinking it was the same coin. Yeah, coin. That was just me messing stuff up. Okay, so Tammy ends up hitting the leprechaun. That's all I wrote. Oh, she hits him with the medallion.
Yeah.
And then this is when they go to the hospital. So do you want to talk about the hospital?
So they run out of the pawn shop and they're in the parking lot, and Scott is just not doing well. He's grabbing his stomach. He's like, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, your face!" And so she ends up taking him to the hospital. And they get him in there and they strap him down to a bed because they think he's got some kind of, I think they say virus that they're trying to figure out. And he just looks, he looks sick. Like, you can see his veins and just,
And like they take his shirt off and there's like hair on his chest and stuff that looks real.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's like patches.
Yeah. And they did that with it, but on his face too, like he's part leprechaun.
Yeah.
And so I do agree that the graphics that way were really good.
Well, maybe that's how there's a new leprechaun in every movie.
Yeah, but he didn't shrink.
But we didn't see him go through a full transformation.
That's true. It's true. I don't know.
And maybe you turn to where you look exactly like Warwick Davis Leprechaun.
That makes sense.
So the doctors are looking over Scott, and the Leprechaun sneaks in dressed up as a doctor.
Which was ridiculous again.
Yeah. And I do think it's funny because they're doing all these experiments on him. First of all, his blood has turned green. They do something, and it comes out and just says "F you."
I think that was the echo on his heart.
Yeah. Like an EKG.
Yeah.
And then they do, I think it's brainwaves is what they're supposed to be scanning, and instead it's just like a stamp of the leprechaun holding a four-leaf clover over and over and over.
Which I thought it was funny because they tell Tammy she can't go back there until they figure out what it is, and they've got him in like this isolation room, but none of the doctors had their masks on. They were all down. Did you notice that?
Yeah. Well, and these aren't very good doctors because they end up trying to steal the money off of him later.
Yeah.
Because his pockets are just like full of cash.
Yeah.
But
because they're looking through to find his wallet to get insurance information.
Yeah. So Tammy finds the mortician dead, and does it explain why she goes down to the morgue?
It comes over the intercom in the hospital that she needs to go down to the morgue. They call her down to the morgue.
Okay. Because I just did not write that down.
Which we find out later is Leprechaun.
Yeah. So she finds the mortician dead, and he's like stabbed with like every single instrument he uses to study bodies. And she gets strapped down to one of the morgue tables by Leprechaun. And Scott ends up escaping the doctors, and like I said, they're stealing his money.
Which was kind of a cool scene because he uses his leprechaun powers to pick up like the bone saw, and he saws through the straps that they had him strapped down with.
And so he runs down to the morgue, and he basically tells the leprechaun, "Why are you even messing with us? Go after Fazio. He has your coin." So the leprechaun ends up leaving. I think he like hijacks a gurney and rides it. So we cut back, and Fazio's doing some kind of magic trick. He puts something in a trunk.
He was getting ready to put the lady from the audience in there.
Okay.
Or he did put her in there.
And when he opens the trunk, the leprechaun comes out. And everyone just thinks it's part of the show.
Yeah.
So then the leprechaun magics him into, like, one of the boxes where they saw people in half. And then cuts him in half with a chainsaw.
Which is the trick at the beginning that they were talking about. Because he wanted to, like, light the box on fire or something with Tammy in there. And that was the one that Mitch said, no, you're not doing that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and because he messed it up, he messed up the trick, too.
Yeah. And
caught something he wasn't supposed to catch on fire, didn't he?
Yeah.
And so, so he chainsaws Fazio in half, the leprechaun does, and then we see the crowd, like, panic and leaving because they realize it's real. Whenever he pulls the boxes apart, you could see all his guts and stuff, which, again, pretty good effects.
Yeah.
And, right at that moment is when Scott and Tammy come in. And so Scott grabs the flamethrower, and flamethrower is the pot of gold, which is just, like, sitting there, or does it appear?
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
I think it's just sitting there, and he flamethrowers it, and it disappears. But it's not like it, like, burns up. It's literally just, like, a fade-away effect. And then the leprechaun starts burning, and we get, like, a wire stump where he's flying around.
Yeah.
In, like, the... What is that called?
Like the theater?
Yeah. Yeah, but I was thinking of a different name.
Stage?
No, like a something hall. Hall.
Concert?
Yeah, concert hall. That's what I was looking for. Not that it matters. That was just... So... Then, as they head outside of the casino, and Tammy reveals that she kept one of the coins, and they're talking about what to do with it, and then they're cheesily like, oh, well, we already have everything we want, and then they walk away, and that's where the movie ends. Right?
Yeah. But don't we see Scott, like, become unaware leprechaun.
Yeah, whenever they burn the actual leprechaun, yes. So I did want to mention.
Which is such a weird, like, okay, so I just met you, we went through all this crap with the leprechaun, but I'm gonna run off to California with you while you go to college.
Yeah. I met you today.
Yeah.
And you almost hit me with your car. That was our first meeting.
Yeah.
So I did want to mention that Warwick Davis has gone on record to say that this was his favorite movie out of all of them.
I don't understand that. It was not my favorite.
I don't know.
So far, it's been 2, 1, 3, 4.
Maybe it's because it's more of a comedy, and so he was able to have more fun with it and that kind of thing.
I don't know. So what was your opinion of the third one?
It's just as forgettable as I thought it was. Like, I told you that I didn't remember it very well. I think the Were Leprechaun is a fun idea, but I don't think they... And, like, the effects were really cool, but I just don't think they did.
They could have focused more on the Were Leprechaun and less on the casino owner.
And I wonder if the reason that all that stuff is in there is to like up the kill count, like how many people die.
Maybe.
And like have creative kills, like the girl getting blown up and the electrocuting robot.
Yeah, but you could have done that and still had the Were Leprechaun be like...
I know, yeah.
Learning
I agree with you. I think they should have focused more on the Were Leprechaun. And I like that idea of him like training under the leprechaun.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think they could have done so much more with it, but not nearly as bad as the fourth one.
Okay, so are you ready to talk about the trashy fourth one?
So overall, third one. Now I said this in the beginning with the first one. I think first and second one. Like, sometimes I'll sit down and watch a movie and we do something else, and I didn't do that with the first two. This one I was kind of playing on my phone and stuff because it just didn't keep my attention. The best part was the Were Leprechaun, but Scott was not a good actor. It just wasn't wasn't good.
Yeah.
So Leprechaun 4, Leprechaun in Space.
Like you said, this goes the sci-fi route.
Yes.
And it feels very much like, oh, there's this really popular franchise called Alien. Let's steal a bunch of pieces from that.
That's exactly what it was. They took out the alien and put in a leprechaun.
Yeah.
And really bad actors.
Yes.
Really, really, really bad actors.
But it even almost felt like it was the same cast if they were cast as the worst actors you could find.
Right. Yeah. It was just not.
Yeah.
And the head guy it's a group of Marines, I think is what they say.
Yes.
And the guy that's the leader of them has like this big
metal piece on
the side of his head, and you can see like the fake skin up around the sides of it. They say that he lost half of his head in a battle. I
referred to him as Metalhead throughout my entire thing, which I'm pretty sure that's the name of the TMNT robot that Donnie builds.
Oh.
And I think that's where I got it from, but I didn't write down people's names really until they died, because everyone's forgettable. Yeah. There wasn't really any characters that kind of stood out to me all that much.
The lab assistant or whatever he was stood out because he was creepy.
Yeah.
But so the movie starts out and we meet our Marine people.
Well, first, can I talk about something?
Yeah.
We start out on the outside of the spaceship, and this CGI is worse than the CGI in Age of Dinosaurs. I will go on record and say that. I genuinely think the CGI in this is worse than the CGI in Age of Dinosaurs. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but...
Yeah, I could see that.
Which, again, there's like a... When did this come out?
90, I don't
96?
know when this one came out. I'll look it up. You keep talking.
Okay. But, like, even Age of Dinosaurs had some redeeming CGI in it. It had you said that you thought the dinosaurs in the pods was actually pretty decent CGI.
Somewhat, most of them.
Yeah. And I agree with you there. I don't think this had any redeeming CGI in it. The practical effects in it were really good, but I don't think any of the CGI.
This one came out in 96.
Yeah. So...
I didn't think the background was very good either. Like when they're in the cave and stuff.
When they're on the planet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just looked fake.
It looks like if you go back and watch like the very first Star Trek episode ever, that's the kind of stuff they had. Yeah. It was terrible. Yeah, so we meet the people on the ship, and I didn't write down like anyone because
there's the head guy, and then there's 3 other male soldiers, right?
Yes,
and
then one female. So we find out they're hunting. If I remember right, it says they're hunting an alien who's been messing up their mining people.
Yes.
And what's funny about that is this is Leprechaun 4 in space. Never once is the word leprechaun used in this movie. Never once do they refer to the leprechaun as a leprechaun. He's just an alien.
Yeah.
So, we also meet Dr. Tina Reeves here, who is coming along on the expedition.
And I didn't understand that because they're already in the middle of space. Where did she come from? They just dropped her off on the side of the ship?
No, I think that she was already on the ship. But they leave in a smaller ship to go down to the planet.
Oh,
I don't think they knew she was going with them down onto the planet. Okay. Which you don't really get a good feel for how big the big spaceship is.
Yeah.
Nor for how big the small one is. You don't really get... Like, I feel like that is something they could have done better, is give you an idea of how the ship was.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they do a good job of that in Alien.
Yeah.
Where you kind of go through the ship and you kind of know where things are and kind of where things are in reference to each other and the scale and all that. This did not feel like there was a consistent scale that you could figure out.
Yeah. I did think later on, though, when they're looking for him on the ship, though, some of the background with, like, the rusty pipes and kind of stuff, I thought were good.
I think the actual space set itself is good when they're actually on the sets. I just mean, like,
No, I get what you mean.
I didn't have a good feel of, like, where's the cargo hold and how big is it compared to, like, other... Like, it felt... I don't know.
Right.
It felt kind of disjointed. It felt like this movie had a very bad script.
Yes. Yes. So then we see the leprechaun, right? Or we see a lady change up?
We see the little ship. I call it Little Crappy and Big Crappy. We see Little Crappy leave and head down toward the planet. And they say they made the planet. I didn't write it down. I didn't think it was that important. But they're leaving to it, and then we cut to...
They don't want the doctor with them.
Yes.
What's he call her? He calls her Cupcake or something. Little Cupcake or something.
And so one of the Marines is Books, is his name? Is that...
Okay.
That's what I wrote.
Well, I believe you.
And maybe it's Brooks? I don't know. I wrote Books. Brooks? Okay. So Brooks and Tina kind of have a thing. Tina falls...
No, it is Books.
Okay. Tina falls into his lap while they're taking off in the ship, so that kind of is what sparks the romance. But no one in this movie is a good actor.
No.
The only one that I can think is a good actor in this movie is Warwick Davis.
Yeah.
The Leprechaun. So...
I didn't think the princess was too bad.
I don't really think...
Because she was supposed to come off as being greedy and kind of a not good person, and I think she did a good job with that.
Yeah. And I think her being an alien probably helped, too.
That's true.
So now we cut to the Leprechaun. Do you want to talk about it?
So we see basically Princess Leia.
Yeah, it's literally the Slave Leia outfit.
Chained up in a cave, and
Is she chained up?
Mm-hmm. She's chained up to the wall. And Leprechaun comes in, and he has this like fine dining table set up, and he uses his magic and gets her off the wall and tells her basically that she's going to be his wife because he wants to be a king. And she's like, "Oh no, not you!" And then he starts showing her the gold that he has, and she's like, "Oh, okay."
I don't even know. I didn't realize he was showing her gold he had. I thought he turned the stuff on the table to gold.
Well, yeah, that's
okay. Yeah,
that's what.
And so you kind of find out that she's from royalty, but they're poor royalty. Like they've lost their money, and so he's offering to replace that essentially. Yeah. And the princess's name is Princess Serena, and for the entire rest of this, I just referred to her as PZ.
PZ. Okay.
And here is where I wrote that the planet looks so bad. We see the Marines on the planet, and there's like pink lightning that goes off in the background and stuff, and we like slowly move over from like the right to the left, and we come across these rocks that look like they're made out of styrofoam.
See, that's exactly what I thought. And then when they get inside the cave, it's like the whole walls are made of styrofoam.
Yeah. And we know that they did good caves in the Leprechaun movies because we see it at the very beginning of the first movie, and we see it a lot in the second movie.
Yeah.
So they can do caves.
But this is in space, so it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell if, at the beginning of this one, I wasn't sure if it was Warwick Davis playing the Leprechaun, because he didn't have his accent at the beginning.
Yeah.
Did you catch that?
I know, but
I wasn't even sure it was her, which I don't know if he's English, so I'm sure he probably doesn't have an Irish accent.
No, his accent is more like English.
Yeah, but at the beginning he does for the rest of the movie, but at the very beginning when he's talking to her at dinner, he didn't.
That's so weird. And the Marines see a blue alien that they start firing at.
Yeah.
Which never comes back.
No.
It's just this one part. So I'm wondering if that was something the Leprechaun conjured up.
Maybe.
I wonder if it was just him distracting them and it was never actually there.
Or maybe that was the alien they were going after and they didn't know that there was actually a leprechaun there.
But I thought that the Leprechaun was the one messing up their mining stuff. That's the impression I got, but they never said that.
Right.
That's just what I assumed. So one of the Marine branches off and he finds the Leprechaun's gold and he gets lightsabered. The Leprechaun pulls out a green lightsaber and kills him.
Yes.
Which I do think was funny. And I wonder if this movie was leaned more into that comedic stuff, if it would be better regarded.
It needed better actors, and it needed better sets.
I agree with that, but I wonder if they had leaned more, instead of like trying to copy popular sci-fi franchises outright, if it had been like parody.
Yeah.
If they had leaned more into the parody stuff. If they could have done a better job. So, and this is going to happen a lot in this movie, the Marines and the Leprechaun have a shootout. And I don't remember if he has a gun at this point. Because sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. But when he doesn't, he's just shooting like bolts from his fingers.
I don't think he does at this point, but I can't remember. I don't think he did.
But one of the Marines throws a grenade at the right as the princess comes out from like a separate area. And so the Leprechaun jumps on it to take the brunt of the attack. Which reminded me of when he does that in Captain America when he jumps on it. But in this case, the Leprechaun actually does get exploded.
Yeah.
And it also blows off the princess's hand and knocks her out.
Yeah.
And so one of the Marines starts to pee on the Leprechaun's body.
You said that the one Marine died, right? By the
he gets lightsabered,
yeah.
Which, yes, he dies from that.
Yeah.
But they still end up with his gold. So do they go in there after and take it? Is that supposed to be the implication?
Well, see, they don't have his gold. The stuff on the table wasn't his gold.
Yeah, but they get his actual gold.
I know. So I don't know if he had it. I don't know. Maybe he had it with him. I don't know.
Okay, so they blew him up and stuff. So the one Marine starts to pee on the Leprechaun's dead body, or like what's left of it, and we see some magic go up the stream. And again, it's not good graphics. The original Children of the Corn, the graphics at the end that are terrible, that's what it reminded me of. It was that kind of graphics.
See, I didn't even catch that it was like going up.
Yeah, the stream.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I kept getting all the Marines confused.
Yeah.
Because you kind of had, there was like the African American one, there was a woman, and then there was the other ones.
Yeah.
And I kept getting the other ones confused.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know when the one woman died which one it was. I thought it was the wrong one.
Yeah. No, me too. And I was confused.
And then she came back and I'm like, wait a minute, yeah.
Well, isn't the woman in the group isn't the one that lives, isn't she in the group that finds the body of the other woman?
I think so.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I thought she was the one that just died.
Yeah, so I did the same thing.
So, so Little Crappy returns to Big Crappy. I feel like AC Slater. And this is where they figure out Zarina's a princess, because one of them, it might be the doctor, identifies the golden necklace as being royalty for whatever planet she's from. Which I don't... Is it the same planet that they were just on? Or is it a different planet? That's what I thought. So, we also learn... This is when we first meet Harold, and he shows off his shrinking and growing machine. Yeah, he's a creep.
He reminded me of the mad scientist in Mad God.
Yeah.
That creepy vibe that they give off. Oof.
We also meet the TV screen guy, whose name I wrote down somewhere.
Dr. Mintonhand.
Yes. Because later on he calls himself Mitten Spider. So Mitten,
Black...
Which I think we may have seen him earlier.
The Black Marine is Styx.
Okay. Yes, I wrote that down.
The actual head guy, his name is Metalhead.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Oh.
There's
So,
Duke.
I must have wrote that down because it actually was his head.
There's
I mean,
Mooch.
it was his name.
And Danny.
Okay. That's funny. They're all, like, nicknames, which makes sense for, like, military, but then there's Danny.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, so I think we may have seen him once earlier. The guy that's like a head on the TV screen, but we see him just kind of talking through the screen, and so we don't know. We just see his head basically, so we don't know what the rest of him looks like, which is kind of important for later. And he's kind of like the boss scientist or something, or the boss of the ship or something. I don't know.
I
didn't
know
really
because the Marines keep telling him that their contract's up at midnight, and he's like, "No, it's not. You work for me." So I don't really know.
Yeah, I didn't really understand what his deal was.
I didn't either.
So then we cut, and two of the Marines are dancing together. It's the female and the one that I called P, because he's the one that peed on the body. So they are dancing together, and they go off to like a private place away from the other Marines to get it on.
They're kind of in an elevator. It looked like to me, like they were.
I thought it was just like a hallway.
I thought they were going somewhere in an elevator, but.
And the Marine starts seeming like he's in pain, the P one, and then Leprechaun bursts from his crotch.
Yeah.
And says, that's why you always use contraceptives or something?
Yeah.
Or protection or something like that. I don't remember the exact phrase he uses. But then he ends up running away. And...
Which, this whole scene was so weird because he keeps telling the woman, like, you're hurting me. And she's like, what am I doing? And it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
And you can see the front of his pants, like, looks like, I don't know.
It's like, keeps growing bigger and bigger. It reminds me of the guy's stomach in the second movie, except it's this guy's pants.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, the female Marines, I don't think we see it, but she must tell the other Marines, because the other Marines figure out that there is an alien on the ship.
She goes back and tells them.
Okay. Did we see that? Because I don't remember. Okay.
She runs back in there screaming and crying.
Okay. So they all leave to search around, and they think he's in the waste disposal. So they have to put on protective suits to go into the waste disposal. So...
Which I thought this part was dumb. I don't know why, but I thought this whole thing was dumb.
One guy, I think it's Mooch, gets told to.
Yeah.
And then the doctor volunteers to go in, but they tell her no. Or one of the guys tells her no. I don't know which guy it is. One of the other guys tells her no.
Whichever guy was in charge of keeping her safe.
Yeah. And so he says, I'll go instead. And so we then cut back to the creepy scientist. I literally called him Creepy Harold the entire time throughout my notes. And he's like groping the passed out princess, basically, and like kissing her stomach and
her foot.
Being gross. And he notices that her hand has reattached itself.
Yeah.
So...
And he starts to grab her chest, and then the guy on the computer screen talks.
Yeah, the mitten hand.
Yeah.
Which also is such a weird name. No one has a normal name in this movie except...
Tina?
Yeah. Well, wasn't there a Danny?
And Danny, yeah.
Yeah. So, then we're back, and the two Marines are now in their suits, and we see that Leprechaun is in there too. Also in a suit?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to know where he got his that's his perfect size.
Right. And the suits don't even look like they fit the men like they should. Like,
very loose.
Yeah.
And they look just kind of like the generic hazmat suits you could buy on Amazon.
Yeah, like Halloween costume ones.
Yeah, like not real. And so the Leprechaun slashes one of their suits. So the other Marine is trying to get him out, and by the time he does, he's just a skeleton.
So what?
And it looks like a skeleton you would just go to like Spirit Halloween and buy.
What happened? What splashed on the guy's face that like got his face mask red?
I don't know.
I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be blood. I couldn't tell if it was like waste material.
I think it was supposed to be blood, but I do not know.
Because like, okay, then second question, where'd it come from? You're not gonna be able to answer that either.
Yeah, no idea. I don't know if that was supposed to be like him melting or something. Like, I don't know.
I don't know.
So the Marines decide they're done, so they go confront the Mitten Hand. And Mitten Hand comes out, and we see that he's basically just like one arm up to the shoulder, part of like the skin of his chest, and the neck and head on like a robot body. But it's like not like a humanoid robot.
It's like Kevin's body from Save the Bell. Just the square.
Yes, yeah.
But you know what I thought was funny? They acted like they had no idea the guy was on the ship and he was on the other side of the wall the entire time.
Yeah.
Again, that was dumb.
Yeah. And I don't know, is he supposed to be the captain?
I have no idea.
Because they say here he threatens legal charges of mutiny if they don't hunt down the leprechaun. Well, mutiny is when you overthrow the ship of the captain. So is he the captain then?
I have no idea.
I did not know what his role was. He was just there.
But he's gross because he's got like a jar over here with his heart and then something else on this side. And
so...
And again, the graphics where he's connected to the machine are not very good.
Yeah. So I think the Marines end up leaving. Not like leaving the ship, but leaving to go hunt down the leprechaun. And this is where Harold has made, or I don't know if it's just supposed to be her blood or if he says it's like a mixture, but he has her blood and it's supposed to be able to regenerate tissue.
Yeah.
And Harold like gives a vial of it to...
Well, he scrapes off a little bitty bit of the skin on his thumb.
Yeah.
And puts her blood on there and it grows a new thumb.
Yes. So we know that's going on. So we cut back to the Marines, and they get in a shootout with the Leprechaun, and one of the other guy Marines gets separated and crushed by like a crate or something. Yeah. And you don't really see anything. You just kind of see the crate fall, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like you don't really see him get squished or anything. So the Marine woman gets separated from the other Marines because Leprechaun, I think, closes the door or something. And so she's on like a catwalk above like this big fall, and this reminded me of Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And so she has a shotgun, I think, and she blasts Lep into pieces, and only a foot's left, and he entirely regrows from the foot in like 2 seconds. Yeah. And then he knocks her off the edge, but she manages to grab on, and then he basically plays like this little piggy with her fingers until she falls, which reminded me of Tweety Bird.
Yeah, yeah.
And so she ends up falling, and she falls and is dying, and the other Marines come across her as she's dying, and there's like blood coming out of the corner of her mouth, and she says, "Get him," and then dies.
Yeah.
Great last words. It's not like they were already going to do that.
Right.
So.
And I didn't think her body positioning was very good either, because it was like, you could lay down like that. Like,
yeah.
I mean, and I know
it didn't
it's
look like she had,
movie, but falling from that far, you'd probably have a bone or something sticking out.
In saying that, I wonder, because the planet was so bad, I wonder if all these sets on the ship that look really good were from another movie.
Probably.
I wonder if that's why these look so good.
Probably.
Because there's like that, I love this movie and it's really stupid, but there's a movie called Raptor Planet where these people go, they're like in space and they go to another planet, and they have a bunch of really funny dialogue in that. Like there's one line where they're carrying around shotguns, and someone comments of, "Why are we still using shotguns in this day and age?" And they talk about how something about they're underfunded and you don't fix what's broken, and so they give like reasons for why they're just carrying modern day shotguns in this futuristic thing. But all the sets from that were reused from another production. So what they say in the movie is I think they're like medieval houses, and the excuse they give for why they're all medieval houses is, "Oh, we landed on an amusement park on this planet." But the amusement park has no rides or anything, it's just medieval houses. But anyway.
So, this is according to Dave Trippett, the executive in charge of production for the first 3 movies. This film was originally a spoof of Apollo 13. A senior Trimark executive saw the promo art for Apollo 13 and had artwork made up replacing Tom Hanks' face with the Leprechaun's face, and this is what started the script for the movie.
See, and I think that would be fine if they had leaned more into the spoofiness.
Yeah.
Like, they have the lightsaber scene and stuff. Like, if you could do more with that. Like, lots of people love, I haven't seen it, but, a lot of people love Spaceballs. And that parodies, like, Star Trek and Star Wars and...
Spaceballs is funny.
And see, you could have done something like that with Leprechaun.
Yeah.
Because, like, the lightsaber, it's never explained or anything. And so I feel like you could do more with that.
They just fell short with this one.
Yeah. So, where were we at in the actual movie? We cut back to Harold, and he is tricked by the Leprechaun appearing as a naked Tina to get into the science area or whatever,
Yeah,
the
but
medical
Tina's already
bay.
dead.
No, Tina's
dead.
no. Tina's the doctor. She's still
Oh.
alive. The one that died was I wrote Dolores.
That's right.
Is that her name?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so which again that reminded me of the third movie where the Mitch gets tricked with the girl on the TV.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that was kind of a callback. So Harold ends up stabbing the leprechaun, but the leprechaun squishes Harold's face into like a pancake with like a metal tray.
Which was ridiculous.
I agree, but I think if they had leaned more into the goofiness and stuff like that, it would have been better. Because this is kind of gnarly, the way it looks.
Yeah.
So Harold is dead. So the leprechaun wakes up Peasy and mixes the blood from her with a scorpion and a spider, or like a tarantula, and then injects it into Mitten Hand.
So basically, Mitten Hand wanted to use her blood to clear this up. I don't think we really went into this. To regenerate his body because he's a head and an arm.
Yes. So the leprechaun stabs that, or injects that into his head.
Which you can tell that he's behind the guy's head when he's doing it. Did you notice that? Like, you could very much tell.
Which I don't know why, if they were going to do that, they don't just cut away.
Yeah.
Like, just show us PZ's reaction. You don't need to...
Yeah.
So, the Marines arrive, and they give chase to the leprechaun and PZ as they run away. And so they kind of just
decided that she wants to, like, she's going to be with him. Like, there's one point somewhere in there where he says something about her father, and she's like, I'll kill him for you.
Yeah.
Or something. He says something about killing her dad, and she says, how dare you, I'll do it.
Because she wants money.
Yeah.
So,
but they don't know that. They think he kidnapped her, so the Marines think they're saving her.
Yes. And also somewhere in here, they took Leprechaun's gold.
Yeah.
I don't know where that happened, but somewhere in here, somewhere in between scenes, they took his gold. And so the Marines chase them away, and so they kind of just run past Mitten Hand as Mitten Hand is kind of like freaking out.
Yeah.
I think he's like vibrating or something.
I don't know.
So the princess distracts them while the leprechaun starts covering Metalhead with explosives.
Yeah.
And then he reveals he has the detonator in his hand, and so all the Marines are like, okay, we won't do anything. So then, as Lep and PZ are getting ready to leave, PZ just shows her boobs for practically no reason. But really was just so that they could, like, have that in there as, like, fan service.
The excuse was...
It's an omen of death.
Yes, if a woman from their planet, if royalty from their planet shows you their boobs, it's a death sentence.
Yeah. It's stupid. I literally wrote, for convoluted death sentence reasons.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make sense. It's just so that they could show some boobs.
Yeah.
Which, if you were going to do that, I don't know why you wouldn't have done it earlier when Tina was naked on the monitor. Like, I know maybe Tina didn't want to do a nude scene, but maybe you could have worked it in where PZ is the one that tricks him into doing it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because again...
I was expecting, honestly, like, lasers or something to come out. Like, there was a reason why she was...
But again, like, okay, why did the leprechaun need him to open that door to get in there? Because we see him teleport and stuff.
Because he had her with him?
What do you mean?
He had the princess with him.
No, when he gets in to kill Harold.
Oh.
Before he saves the princess.
Maybe because he didn't have his gold, he didn't have all of his powers.
I don't know. It just seems stupid to me. Well, then go after your gold first. I think it'd be easier to get your gold and then save a living person.
And when he threw that thing at the one guy, at Harold, I thought it was going to, like, cut his head off. But no, it just, like, flattened his face.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I think when he first throws it, it's spinning horizontal, and then it goes vertical. So then you're like, oh, it's going to cut his head in half. And then it turns and just smashes his face. Which I do think was, like, a funny beat. Like, I think they could have leaned more into that.
Yeah.
So...
It's like they just didn't know which direction they wanted this movie to go.
Yeah, I agree. So, after that, the Marines are coming out, and they see that the human parts of the Mitten Hand are gone. Like, off the machine. And then we see the Leprechaun using his magic to control Metalhead and force him to perform a song and drag.
Which was totally weird.
Out of nowhere. And again, that lean into the spoof thing. And, like, this scene just feels so out of place. But if you lean more into, like, the comedy elements, I feel like maybe you could have made it work. So...
And if he could make people do what he wanted them to do, why did we have to go through all of this?
Well, I think there's a reason he was able to control him.
Okay. Oh,
we find out he's a cyborg. Gotcha. Yeah. Which, again, wasn't really necessary, and I don't know why that was a surprise when he had a big metal plate. I kind of already thought he was a cyborg.
Well, he lost half of his head in battle.
I know. But I thought he was already a cyborg because he had that big metal plate, and then they made a big deal of it. Like, it was like, oh, we didn't know he was a cyborg. Yeah. Okay, he had a gigantic metal plate in his head. What did you think? Yeah. Which I know people in real life get metal plates in their head and stuff whenever things like that happen.
But this is exposed.
Yes.
And it's bright, shiny metal.
Yes.
Like, they replaced half of his skull and his skin never grew back over.
Yeah. So he's fighting the Marines while arguing with himself. And so this makes me think maybe Leprechaun can just control the mechanical parts. And that's why he's fighting with himself about whether or not to fight them and stuff. So I wonder if that is the reason he can control him specifically. And maybe that's the reason for the cyborg reveal, is to explain why the Leprechaun. But I don't think that much thought went into this movie. No. I really think that the cyborg reveal thing was like copying from Alien. Yeah. Because they make a big deal about that in Alien, so I think they were just stealing that. So Metalhead ends up charging the Marines, and he misses, and he's got like a gun with a bayonet that just appeared next to him. Did you notice that? Mm-hmm. It just appears, and stabs it into something electrical and gets electrocuted to death. Yeah. So then we get a scene of, and I didn't recognize who this was at first, but it's Mitten Hand, and he's been mutated with the spider and the scorpion DNA and stuff, so he goes, I guess I'm Mitten Spider now, or something like that. And it... Okay? I'm sorry, but that feels so dumb. Yeah. To just be like, I guess I'm Mitten Spider now. Yeah. Like, it feels like something that would be in a comic from, like, the 60s.
Yeah. I mean, it was bad.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah. Remember, I think last episode is whenever I talked about, I just read that, the Wrong Earth series. Mm-hmm. That's how they talk in the other, like, the like, old world that's, like, based off Batman 66. The villains come in and they're like, well, I'm Granny Two Guns, and I'm here to rob this bank and stuff like that. Like, they lay out exactly what they're doing so that new readers know who everyone is. And that was the thing that they would do back then. And so it feels, that scene just feels so much like it was, like, taken from, like, an old comic or something. And so Mitten Spider ends up...
Mitten Spider.
That's what he calls himself.
Wow. But he's weird because he's got spider legs, but they look kind of more like crab legs because of the scorpion part. So he's just a very odd creature.
I do think the design is cool.
It reminded me of something in another movie, but I cannot put my finger on what it was.
This is a weird poll, but there's in the 2002 He-Man show, there's an episode, I don't remember what it's called, but in it, Webster, who's like the spider guy, he just looks like a humanoid basically, except he's got like 4 extra arms on his back and like the AIs and stuff. But he ends up eating ambrosia, which is what the Andrenans make, which are like a bee people, and they use it to, like, when they're going to war and stuff, they eat it. It makes them bigger, and it gives them, like, it extends their spikes that they already have built into their bodies. Well, he eats some, and it mutates him where he has, like, you know, like the huge spider abdomen, these, like, extremely long legs. Like, he goes from being, like, probably 6 feet tall to, like, 20 feet tall. Wow. Just from, like, the legs. Like, the legs are so long. And that's what it reminded me of.
It reminds me of something, I can't remember what it was. Anyway.
So, back to the Leprechaun and the princess. They start the ship's self-destruct sequence, and they get Leprechaun's gold back, but Leprechaun is getting really annoyed with the princess because she won't stop talking. So, we then see Styx, and... what did I write there? Oh, Styx goes and is trying to stop the self-destruct sequence and is attacked by Mitten Spider, but does not die. Like, nothing really happens to him, he just gets attacked, and then he just kind of covered in, like, gross flesh. Like, almost like flesh webbing.
Yeah, but you could tell how fake that. I mean, obviously
Yeah,
it's fake,
yeah.
but it was not good
No.
made graphically. It was like cloth, like it was hooked over his hand for the rest of the movie and up his arm and.
Yeah. So, and again, it's not like Mitten Spider is actually hurting him. He just like lightly drapes some stuff over
Yeah.
him. So then we're back to the leprechaun and the princess, and they find his gold, but it's under the shrinking machine, and they've shrunk it down. Which again, why are you shrinking it down?
They said for storage purposes.
Okay.
Is what they said when they did it.
Okay.
Because there wasn't room on the ship for a pot of gold.
Yeah. So the leprechaun ends up like tormenting the princess by like giving her boils and then knocking her out and taking the boils away.
Because she's basically like, well, I'm beautiful, I could have anybody I wanted. And he's like, no, you're not, you got something right there. And then when she looks in the mirror, she's got all these boils.
Yeah.
But I think it was just a trick of the mind that he played on her.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. So we get yet another gunfight, and I think this time Leprechaun actually does have a gun, right?
I think so too.
I don't remember where he got it, but he has an actual gun at this point. So in this, I think Tina activates the ray because she thinks it's still set on small, but it's actually set on enlarge, so Leprechaun gets really big, and then does absolutely nothing.
Yeah, like, I mean,
He just kind of like, throws a crate.
Huge, like, at least twice as tall as the Marines. I mean,
yeah.
He's big.
Like, they're in, like, the cargo bay of the spaceship, and he's, like, almost to the ceiling.
Yeah.
And so it's probably, like, 2 stories tall.
Yeah.
And he does nothing.
No.
One of the Marines comes up and is, like, facing him down, and then we cut away, and Tina is crawling through the vents and is attacked by Mitten Spider.
And she's going in the vents. They have to get a password. They have to go help the guy figure out a password to stop the...
Yeah.
So she's trying to get a password to them to deactivate the self-destruct because she found the booklet that had all of the passwords in it.
Yes. And I didn't really write down what happens here, but... Oh, yeah, yes, I did. She ends up shooting him with, like, liquid nitrogen. And then she has a gun, so she shoots it. Which, there was something earlier in the movie about how she wouldn't use guns or something.
Yeah.
Because she was a doctor.
Yeah.
So she ends up shooting him, and he bursts apart. You know, you gotta have that explosion as a Leprechaun movie.
Right. Well, it's not the only explosion we get.
Yeah. So, and I think this is part of the reason that I thought I liked this movie. I think I was getting it mixed up with Jason X. Because there's a scene in Jason X where Jason kills someone by dipping their head in, like, liquid nitrogen and smashes it on, like, a countertop. So I think I was getting the two mixed up in my head. Because I did not like this movie very well. I don't think it was irredeemable, but I just think it had a lot of issues. So Books finds the princess knocked out in the hangar. And he's the one that stayed behind to fight Leprechaun, presumably. And so he carries her out of the hangar, and as I literally wrote, as Lep does nothing.
Yeah, no.
He just kind of stands there.
Yeah, well, he was sick of her anyway.
Yeah. So then they throw open the cargo bay doors, and the Leprechaun gets sucked out into space, and then blows up.
Yeah.
And then they stop the self-destruct with the password, which is like something to do with Wizard of Oz, because Mittenhand earlier had something about how he wanted to be the man behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Like the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. The password was wizard.
Yeah, and then we get the Leprechaun's, like, hand, gigantic, blown
Severed
off.
hand, yeah.
Flipping off the camera.
Yeah. And that's the
From out in space.
And that's the end.
Yep. Oh, we also get a scene earlier, whenever he's imitating Tina, he, like, turns and talks to the audience for a second, which felt really out of place and out of nowhere.
It just... I don't know. I'm not a huge sci-fi fan. For most movies, I'm not a huge sci-fi fan anyway. I think it's cool that they're taking the same character. I don't know if he's supposed to be the same character.
Yeah.
The same character and putting him in different situations. But it's like you said, this one tried too hard to be serious it tried too hard to be serious. When, like you said, it could have been a Spaceballs where it was leaned more into the comedy.
It tried to have it, what am I trying to say? The cake thing. I don't know why my brain...
Cake and eat it too?
Yes. I don't know why my brain is fried.
And the acting was bad.
Yeah. I think it needed to pick a lane.
Well, and another thing for me is I felt like Okay, so the third one was kind of okay with this because we had Scott who was turning into a leprechaun, but this one wasn't really focused on the leprechaun. Like
No,
it wasn't
no.
like he was kind of an afterthought.
Yeah.
And I think if we
You
would
could have replaced him with about any other alien, and it would not have changed like the plot of the movie.
exactly.
And that's not really a good thing.
Yeah, because there wasn't. I mean, obviously
It's like
the princess was there because
Yeah.
of his gold, but you know, at least in the third one, he was after people because they had his gold. There
Yeah.
was none of that in this
I
one.
don't even think they really brought up his gold until him and the princess went looking for it.
Yeah, I mean they shrank it because
Yeah,
they didn't have room
yeah,
for it.
Yeah.
It was a bad movie. It was a horrible movie. Harold made me uncomfortable.
You, I think it's in Big Bang Theory they talk about it, which I know you love that show.
Mm-hmm.
But don't they talk about how in Indiana Jones the first one, you could take him out and nothing would change?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of. You could take the leprechaun out and put in like the blue alien they showed at the beginning, put him in instead, and nothing would change. Like it just it didn't.
And there was so much focus on Mitten Hand that like
And I think there were lots of cool ideas in here and stuff, but genuinely they just need to pick a lane of either they're going spoof or they're going serious, and they try to do both, and you can't really. I mean, there is a good balance to be had. You can have like emotional moments in spoofs, and you can have spoofy moments in like a more serious movie.
Right.
But
like the first Leprechaun.
But this did not strike a balance.
Yeah, and the first Leprechaun, he was the bad guy.
Yeah.
He was the bad guy.
Yes.
This one, was he really the bad guy?
Yeah, there's kind of multiple villains. Yeah.
And, like, I didn't really like Metalhead.
Well, it's like people, when people talk about the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, they always talk about how they tried to throw too much into the third one. That's what this feels like.
Yeah.
And I often say, whenever we're talking about a movie that's not very good, I often say this feels like a first script draft. This feels like it went through too many people. It feels like a script that was passed from person to person, and each person added their own thing.
Well, don't you think if they had went not the spoof route with it, that if we had been on a spaceship and it had been the Leprechaun and they focused on him being scary, it could have been a good scary movie.
Yeah. I also
because you're trapped in space. What are you going to do? You can't
exactly,
really go anywhere.
No one can hear you scream.
I mean, how did they not know that the Mitten House was on the ship with them?
Yeah, and there's just a lot that didn't make sense. Like, why all of a sudden did they decide the doctor was going with them? Like, where did that come from? Like, it just...
Yeah, if she was on the ship, why would they all of a sudden just send her? It wasn't like they were going on a rescue mission for the princess.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I did not like this one. The third had some good things that they could have played off of, but this one just did not. It did not. This one failed miserably for me.
I still don't think it was irredeemable, though, because I think Leprechaun in space is a fun idea. You just need to...
If they did it right, and they didn't do it right.
Yeah.
And I didn't think the acting was good in this one. Of course, Warwick Davis is always... I mean, I like him. He's funny. I did see something earlier when I was looking it up that... he was in some of the Star Wars movies, so him using the lightsaber is a reference to his Star Wars.
That's fun.
Yeah.
But I will say, one thing that I do like about these movies is the Leprechaun does feel pretty consistent.
Yeah.
He does talk more, like have more quips and stuff in some of the movies, but he always feels... You never feel like it's not the Leprechaun.
Right. And I really, which we've talked about this, but I really like the idea that it's a different Leprechaun. Yeah. Because then you can kind of throw out all the, what's that called? When movies aren't not consistent, but...
Continuity.
Yeah. You can kind of throw out all the continuity issues because maybe it's not the same Leprechaun.
Yeah.
Maybe there's different things that hurt different ones. And I like that. I really do. I just hope the fifth and sixth one are better than the fourth one.
I think whenever they made the fourth one and they saw the reaction to it, they're like, oh, we need to, like, ground this a little bit more for people. And that's when they brought it back to just being like, again, it's just Leprechaun kind of in his city.
But again, I think they could have done something with space and made it good.
I agree, but I'm just saying, I don't think they knew how to do it.
Yeah, so... let us know what you think of these two. I told Dawson before we started recording.
Before you say all this, though, I do want to say, now I'm worried that I'm misremembering the Hood movies, too, and that maybe they're bad.
Find out.
Yeah.
We'll let you know next week. But so far, my order is 2, 1, 3, 4.
I agree.
I loved 2. I loved 1 for the horror aspects, but I really loved 2.
I might put 4 over 3. Only because the third one is so forgettable. it's better to be bad and be remembered than be mediocre and completely
But
forgotten.
see, I think I would remember the Were Leprechaun more than the fourth one for me.
Okay.
Because I like that concept.
Yeah.
I think that's a really
I
cool
agree.
idea.
I think that concept is cool. I just, out of all the ones we've watched so far, I feel like the third one is the most forgettable.
I could see that, yeah. Because
I
you didn't
don't-
even remember what it was about when we were
No,
talking
and I
about
don't. I know they did the Were Leprechaun stuff. It just did not feel like they did anything to change the status quo.
it. Yeah.
Because, like, the first one, they're in a rural town. Second one, they're in Los Angeles. And then third one, they're in another big city.
Yeah.
Like, it just felt... It didn't feel like it tried enough. It tried enough different things.
I kind of thought the third one was boring.
Yeah, and that's probably why I
Just,
think it's pretty forgettable.
Like, with all the... Again, like I said with the fourth one, if they would have focused more on the Leprechaun and not had all the Mitch stuff and all of that
Yeah.
stuff going on, I think it could have been really scary. I think a Leprechaun, like the first one, he's pretty scary in the first one.
Yeah, and the thing about that is, I think with the first, they kind of hit lightning in a bottle.
Uh-huh.
And they kind of got it with the second, too. I think they kind of perfected exactly where they wanted to take the character in the second one. And then the third and fourth, it just feels like they didn't quite know what to do with them.
Yeah. And I think, like, which we mentioned this already, but it's really cool that they've done horror, they've done
Yes.
adventure, they've
Action-adventure.
done the gangster type one, they've done sci-fi, and then
Yeah.
I don't know what you qualify the next one as, probably action.
They
more
kind
action-y.
of actiony. They kind of get into gang stuff too.
Yeah.
Kind of like
So
gang
I think
warfare.
that's really cool because look at the Scream franchise.
Yeah.
Yes, they can change locations, but it's a guy in a costume, a person in a costume, so you're kind of limited by what you can do with that. And this, I like that they're able to do that genre crossing. I just don't think they did it very well.
I
This
am
time.
remembering a really bad joke that they keep harping on in one of the Hood movies, and I don't remember if it's in the first or second. But there's a joke where instead of saying the N-word, the new thing is saying ninja. So then there's a scene where the Leprechaun says like "What's up, ninja?" to someone or something, and they act like it's a big deal.
Well, I haven't watched those yet, so.
I think I've only seen them once, but I remember them being funny, and that's about all I remember.
After watching 4, I was like, nope, I'm done for the week.
And I know the medallion comes back, but I don't really remember, which again could be good or bad.
Yeah.
I don't really remember a whole lot. I have like snippets that I can remember.
Yeah. So, let us know what you think, and we will be back next week with 5 and 6. And then the week after that is a book, correct?
Should be.
And our next book is Scowler. I was looking at our list.
Okay. Which is probably my favorite horror book.
And who's that by?
I don't remember.
Okay. We'll let you know next week who it's by, but yeah.
I don't think there's any other book called Scowler I've ever seen, so it should be pretty easy to find.
Yeah. So let us know what you think of the Leprechauns and which one's your favorite, and we will see you next week.
And let us know if we should do the like prequel, requel ones at some point.
Daniel Kraus.
Okay.
Is the author of Scowler.
There you go.
All right. Have
That's
a good day.